Hello and welcome again to our YouTube channel, and this time we are privileged to have one of our successful existing client, Mr. Harish Patel, who is a co-founder and director at Logic Loop, and he's currently in UK. I would still want Mr. Harish to introduce himself to our viewers and let us know about your company and your work.
Yeah, hi,
Welcome,
thanks,
Harish.
Falguni. Yeah, thank you, Falguni. So like you mentioned, my name is Harish Patel. I am a co-founder at Logic Loop. Logic Loop is in the technology services business and in the digital marketing agency business. We basically help other brands and other organizations generate more business using online as a medium and use technology and automation to bring in more efficiencies to their operations. So that's basically what we do.
Brilliant. And Harish, I wanted to ask you. I remember our first conversation where you already had a kind of a, you already were in process where you were thinking of establishing yourself in the UK, and you were speaking to a few consultants in India,
Right.
and you had some thoughts on how this is going to be for you. And then we connected and we had this chat to say,
Right.
given the aspirations that the company has, the specific goals that the company has, there were different pathways, and we were of the opinion that this best suits you. I'm sure you had options then. So how easy or difficult was it? In terms of advice that you received from us and from the consultants, and B, in terms of picking up which pathway best suits you.
Yeah, you're right. When we started off, we were obviously doing our research, and during that research, we were speaking to multiple agencies like yourself. And one of the pieces of advice that we received initially was completely diametrically opposite from what you guys thought we should be doing. And that was quite an eye-opener for us, to be honest, at that point. But eventually, it panned out to be the right advice, what you guys had basically put us on the right path. So yeah, so that was good. That experience basically told us that yes, we have partnered with the right company on our journey to overseas expansion.
Thank you so much. And how would you describe your process? Because that was a time-consuming process. It had various levels that it had to go through, and it's quite a lot of interaction that happened between SmartMove2UK and your company. How easy, difficult was it? How accessible was our team for you in this journey?
Oh, very. I mean, as far as the service levels and the level of interactions and engagement from you guys was concerned, I couldn't ask for anything more. So that was great. In terms of the actual process, obviously, anything like this is non-trivial, to say the least, right? And it has its own complexities. But the overall process was articulated very well. It was documented also very well, and that helped because it is a long process and it has several hoops to jump. So having it clearly articulated and laid out in front of one helps. So that is something that was done very well. So yeah.
Brilliant. And Harish, what part of SmartMove to UK services provided by our team was most valuable to you during this application process that you think would stood out and kind of had been really helpful?
I think I would say what was most valuable to us was the adherence to the plan. Yeah, because usually processes like this, there can be a lot of variation, which is usually beyond one's control. I mean, beyond your control, it's beyond me as a client, our control, right? So as long as I'm doing my part of the journey, which is providing all the documents and going through the process. Um, what helped a lot was how well it panned out in terms of the plan that was initially discussed with us. So that was something that was quite impressive because yeah, it takes time, but at least it went through the same stages that we thought it would go through. So that was comforting.
Brilliant. And Harish, would you kind of kind of, you've been frequent traveler yourself, and also to the UK. You had been a couple of times even before you took this decision to set your business in the UK on a visitor visas, and to very many countries. Do you think that would you advise the viewers that they would need kind of an help or hand-holding, because sometimes they think it's quite easy and it's something that you can read on the gov.uk website, or you can read through the relevant websites and try to make this application by yourself, or how important it is to partner with the right people in this process?
I think it's extremely important, because especially for a decision like the one that we took, there is a lot of consulting advice that is required, which is acquired with experience, right? And I don't think one has the luxury of basically accumulating that knowledge by experience, by doing themselves, because there's just too many failure points, and you need to roll back and restart the process, right? So definitely yes, you definitely need expert advice. There's no two ways about it, because while everything is clearly mentioned black and white on the government websites, and all that is there, yes, there's no denying that. But there are points where there are failure points which you don't know, right? And you don't want to sort of go through that, experience it, and then do it all over again, when there is someone to advise you and avoid all those pitfalls. So definitely, yes, I would recommend it fully.
Brilliant. And also, isn't it like from a business perspective, because when you're thinking about setting up, you kind of have timelines in mind, you kind of have prospects. So, it's a loss of opportunity if it doesn't transpire within the time span that you anticipated it to close down. I think, would you agree that it would affect that proposition as well, that you're already thinking like, in this time I would be here and this is what we plan to do, kind of thing there?
Absolutely, yeah. So going back to the previous point, where adherence to the plan is something that's very important, especially in these cases, because you have activities which are planned post getting there. So definitely, yes, it does have an impact, because it's a business, right? You have a plan and you need to be able to stick to a timeline. So definitely it helps.
And may I ask, Harish, what made you think to pick UK up as a destination to expand your business? I mean, there's so many geographies, and you've been frequent travelers, have been to various geographies, and I'm sure you must have kind of evaluated other options as well when you were considering. Why did you particularly feel UK as an option more suited for your business?
Well, that's a very subjective, topic for us. Part of the reason was because of the strategic location that the UK affords, right? It's basically not very far away from the Indian time zone as well. And we have a running business in India, and lots of activities happening in India. So that was something that was very subjective to our case, where we wanted to set up something where I could still be involved with the India business with an overlap of time zone and all, and also give us the opportunity to expand into a new geography. And then the other thing about UK is that Europe is also next door, right, in terms of proximity. And also the US is also proximal, right? So it's about 6 hours from New York. So doing video bridge conversations with customers or prospective customers in the US also becomes that much more easier versus if you're sitting out of India, right? So that was something that was our thought process. But of course, that's different for different businesses. And we are into the IT technology business, right, and the digital marketing business. So getting help from teams which are located out of India, and we have offices in Dubai as well. So sort of engaging all the teams in different locations becomes easier, we thought, if it is the UK, like kind of centrally placed. So that was kind of our logic, but again, it can be different for different people.
No, I do get this quite often from business owners that, the time zone, that they can have various countries, and if they have presence in multiple countries, it helps them to keep in the UK. But along with the business, you had a family as well, which is moving.
Yeah.
And sometimes, when you are making those decisions which are right, which are apt, which are very conducive business decisions,
Yeah.
How did you kind of, as a family, for your family, how did you think that this will be right for them? I mean, is there any kind of checklist that you had in your mind that, you know, if I were to move with my young family and my partner and my spouse, so how would UK appeal in that sense? Because I'm sure you also may have thought it from that perspective.
Yeah, again, that is a subjective and specific to myself answer, because we've been traveling to the UK a lot in the past. We have family, other extended family, and we know the country a bit, the education system and stuff like that. And we thought that that was the right thing for our family at that point in time. So yeah, that's how we zeroed in on the UK.
Right. So you think that there's better prospect in terms of
Yeah,
education, you know, the quality of life that is
yeah,
there.
correct. Yeah.
Brilliant. And finally, you know, all said and done, we had discussions, you agreed, we walked the path, you adhered to whatever we asked for, you believed in what we were trying to do here. But
Hmm.
when the final outcome came in, when actually the positive response to say yes, that you are,
Yeah.
how is the, what was your thought on that day? Because, you know, it starts with, I want to go there, and then, you know, this whole journey, and then the day when you said yes, it's
Yeah,
done
yeah.
from the authority.
Yeah.
How did it feel?
Of course, the decisions like these are like major decisions in one's life. So, and when you are working towards it for an elongated period of time, maybe, you know, a quarter or 6 months even, you are extremely excited to see what the outcome is. And when the outcome is something that's in your favor, it was a feeling of genuine relief and excitement, a conclusive excitement, right? Knowing that now we could proceed with our plans in terms of basically expanding into a new geography, expanding our business, and the plans that we had been working on could be now finally put into action, right? Leading to probably better growth opportunities for everyone involved. So yeah, so it was a feeling of relief, and obviously, yes, gratitude towards you guys and your team for having worked, you know, so hard and finally sort of pushing us across the finish line.
Thank you very much for your kind words, Harish. That's really nice of you. Any final thoughts? Any final anything that you would want to share with our viewers? Any words of wisdom or you know, any experience sharing would be really appreciated. And what do you want to conclude this with?
Well, nothing specific. Like I said, whatever is the direction that a prospective person like myself is looking to go through to set up a business in the UK, the plan that you guys give is pretty much accurate. Other than that, once they do land in the UK, post that, whatever is to be done is something that they would have to plan for themselves, obviously, because needless to say, every geography is different, right, from a business standpoint, and that is something that one has to plan for themselves. But in overall, in summary, the process is pretty well streamlined as far as you guys are concerned, and yeah, if we just stick to that process, it should work well for most people.
Thank you so very much, Harish. I really appreciate you sharing your wisdom, you sharing your journey with our viewers, and for your kind words. And I wish you all the very best for your endeavors in the UK, and appreciate you joining this conversation. Thank you so very much.
No problem, Falguni. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Yeah, yeah. Can we just, yeah. So you'll obviously edit the thing, right?
That's right, yeah.
So, yeah. So just one thing, having this on the YouTube channel doesn't have any bearing on the current visa situation, right? Because we come as an employee of Logic Loop UK.
That's right. Yeah.
So that is a norm, right? That's not something that doesn't happen.
No, we're not. No. And we haven't spoken about the category. We just read that it's a decision.
Yeah. So let's just keep it at that.
Yeah. We've just kept it very
It's
open.
just about setting up the business. Yeah, that's all.
On setting up a business, more or less like that. Yeah. So don't worry, yeah, we're within the framework, we're within the law. Even when we ask, we were very mindful that, we're not putting on a spotlight for wrong reasons.
No
It's
problem.
just that currently the challenge is that, we were looking for more businesses to kind of, sign in, and that's where it's a bit difficult because as you rightly experienced this, it's not something that people go online and do Google search and make those decisions there. So we're trying to figure out on how could be there a better way to kind of reach out because there are prospects, and I'm sure if the company has their product and services in India and just marketing office in the UK, that can change the dynamics for the business. But we're not sure on how do we reach to such business owners, particularly in India. So that's where we're trying to find the different ways on what can be done here. Because
Understood.
even if you kind of email marketing or things like this, it doesn't really go to the founders or directors' desk. So
Yeah.
that's ruled out, and the Google search is not a place where people making such an important decisions would look out for. So I'm not really sure on how do I break this. So I just thought maybe we can try this one, and somebody trying to search may get inspired by the stories, and that
Sure.
perhaps can help. Or if you have any other idea, because you're from the same space, do you think
No,
Logic
this
Loop
this video
can
video
create some
content.
magic here?
No, so I think from a business standpoint, I think the sentiment of late has been a little dented because of the whole economic situation, UK and all that, right? So a lot of people I talk to keep on asking me why UK, why UK, UK
That's
क्यों गया
right.
है? UK तो
Yeah.
डूब रहा है, right? But that is something that's a very superficial understanding because it's a big market, right? It's like to say कि डूब रहा है and all, it's like too superficial an understanding. Anyways, so that is a sentiment. That's probably why you are probably not finding a lot of businesses setting up that. And also, doing business here in the UK is tough. Having said that, right? Especially for the IT services and that kind of business, because it is quite cannibalized. There are a lot of people who are already doing it, and the general sentiment here in the UK is that they prefer to work with local agencies more than outsource versus the US. US may it's not that way. US is they are very open to outsourcing and all those kind of things. But having said that, if you kind of try to find a niche, I think it should work. But yeah, that's probably just something that's something that for you guys also to keep in mind, that maybe the other businesses are thinking in those terms, and maybe that's the language that you should talk to them about setting up shop in the UK.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So and if you can come across anything else that you can suggest on how we can sort of reach
Sure.
to the business owners, or because I work with London Chamber of Commerce as well very closely, and they were just sharing their experience that they were here in January, and they brought in 10 delegate companies from UK to India for as a UK company looking for tie mergers, acquisitions, etc. And of that 10 companies, 7 were Indian companies registered in UK, became a Britain company, and then came under
Then
that
came back.
delegates. And then they did more business because the perspective of Indian companies to look at them had changed completely by then. They were
Yeah,
more viewed as like a UK company sort of thing there.
understood.
They had a better sort of operate. So something like that, like in terms of positioning in the UK, can also change the dynamics, isn't it? And I don't know, is that right or not? Because that can perhaps open up more doors for doing an international work, or more opportunities to work with different geographies and different clients, which originally didn't give you even the opportunity to speak because you were an Indian company and they were reluctant to have a conversation.
Right.
So this is what their feedback was, to say that
Okay.
and opportunity that way as well.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so very much, Harish. And
Yeah, no problem.